Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthrift, the Breeders' Farm. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo, and we will kick off Sunday's Late Pick 5 with race number 6. Let's take a look at this field of 2-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs. These are juvenile fillies. There are some well-bred ones in this field. And Nicole, will start in post-position order, beginning with the number 1, Striking Beauty. Now, when you look at Striking Beauty's pedigree, a daughter of Curlin out of a graded stakes winning route mare by AP&D, you have to think distance. 6.5 should be a good starting off point for this filly, but doesn't she want more ground down the road?
Well, I certainly think so. And, you know, Jimmy Jerkins is one of those guys we always talk about who's going to take his time with these 2-year-olds. I think 6.5 is a good starting off point as opposed to 5.5 or 6. It looks like she's got a terrific foundation under her fitness-wise with this work tab. But this is one that I think I'm going to be watching down the road when she gets more ground.
The number 2 is Water White. Tell the folks at home about Conveyance, a first crop sire. This horse had a little bit of ability. In this pedigree, there's a nice mixture.
Yeah, there really is. And, you know, Conveyance, I think he's a freshman sire of this year, overlooked in this competitive class, but I think he could be a sneaky good stallion. He's by Indian Charlie out of a Holy Bull mare. I really think that he inherited the best physical qualities of both those lines. He's thrown impressive physicals on some of his foals, and I really think he could really throw some race horses.
The number 3 is Blossom Bow. By Preakness winner Oxbow, this horse went through the auction ring twice, didn't really attract much attention. $3,700 yearling, $10,000 buyback in June. The Oxbows usually take their time. You go deep in the pedigree, there is some class.
There is some class deep in the pedigree, but I think you hit the nail on the head with Oxbow that, you know, they really start coming into their own later in their 2-year-old season or in their 3-year-old season. That plus the shorter work tab on this horse makes me think that she's going to need a run or two. And
here's our formulator fact for this barn. They take their time as well with these sort of horses. Past 5 years, juvenile debut runners in maiden special dirt sprints, 0 for 25. Don't let that formulator fact dissuade you, though. This horse will be a big price. The number 4, Finite, goes out for trainer Steve Asmussen. This is a have to re-ride. We all know re-ride, a solid multiple stakes winner. Finite was a $200,000 2-year-old in training purchase. This is the family of Tapiture, a grade 2 stakes winning route winner and a really good sire. Finite showed good speed in her debut, and we know these Asmussen babies, they really improve second out.
Yeah, the Steve Asmussen barn has been on fire with the 2-year-olds this meet, especially with these second time out 2-year-olds. And Finite, one of a couple in here coming out of a race with some well-bred and well-regarded horses. It's certainly going to be worth going back and taking a look at that race on July 19th at Saratoga. And, you know, Munnings, another stallion who can sire a quick horse, sire an early horse. This is the immediate family of Tapiture, who is a very good later season 2-year-old as well.
And here's the formulator fact for the Asmussen barn. Past 5 years, 2-year-old second-time starters in Saratoga maiden special weight dirt sprints, 10 for 20. And a $3.82 ROI. Pretty remarkable. The 5 is Melisande. This is a daughter of Bodemeister. And there's a little bit of pedigree on the bottom here. The dam's a half to Sutra, who won the Frisette as a 2-year-old. She's also half to a very fast 2-year-old sprinter named Karula. We know Bill Mott likes to take his time.
He does, but you know, this one, there's so much precocity in the family there, you know, and this one shows some very good works. And as always, I'm going to encourage our listeners to go take a look at the workout report from our colleague Mike Welsh and his team at Saratoga. They're really having a good run, as always, this meet. Jose Ortiz aboard first time out. Melisande, again, the trainer pattern kind of makes me look away from this one, but, you know, there is quite a bit there to suggest that she could run it, too.
All eyes are going to be on the number 6, Mrs. Danvers. This is a daughter of the great Tappet out of an unraced half-sister to Warfront. Not only a very fast horse in his day, but a sensational sire. The dam's also a half to 4 other graded black type horses, including the grade 2 winner Teammate. And Mrs. Danvers just had a terrible trip in her debut. My trip notes had her off 3 lengths slow, sent up 4 wide on the far turn, very green in the stretch, and she only finished a head behind Finite. If Mrs. Danvers gets it together and improves second time out like many McGahee train runners, she is going to be very tough.
Oh, absolutely. And, she ran so much better than I had her pegged for in her debut, just because, like you said, Shug McGahee likes to take his time with these horses. Knowing that and knowing she probably wasn't fully cranked, she gave a tremendous account of herself with that troubled trip, like you mentioned. I still think that she wants to go farther than 6.5, likely, being by Tappet. That being said, she looms large here off that solid effort in her debut.
A pretty exciting prospect for Todd Pletcher's the number 7, Abilene Trail, a $400,000 daughter of the great stallion Curlin. She is a half to a grade 3 stakes winning synthetic router. Leave him in Malibu, really wanted to go long. She's also a half to Danzig Moon, who placed in the Bluegrass and ran in the Kentucky Derby a few years back. We've got a nice Phipps family deep in this pedigree, but something tells me that Abilene Trail's another that may need the experience, and I'm going to wait for the stretch out.
I think so as well, and I would be curious to see what this one could do on turf later on. You mentioned some of the synthetic ability in that family. Curlin, of course, by Smart Strike, and Pletcher's worked this one on turf a couple of times. So it wouldn't surprise me to see her getting, a surface switch later on. That being said, there's a lot of distance as well by Curlin from the family of Danzig Moon, who really gave a good accounting of himself in that Kentucky Derby in American Pharoah's year. Abilene Trail, I think I'm going to take a little bit of a wait-and-see approach with her.
Completing the field is Bird Tycoon, and it would be absolutely wonderful if the estate of the late Mrs. Whitney could get a winner at Saratoga. And Bird Tycoon, I thought, did some good things in her debut. Ian Wilkes usually doesn't crank them up. The horse came with a little bit of a run past some tired horses in a live race, and as the folks at home can see, this is a very strong pedigree, the family of Birdstone and Birdtown. I wouldn't be surprised with the addition of Lasix if Bird Tycoon can make some late noise at a price.
Yeah, especially if there's a little bit of pace to run at up front, which there just might be here. But Bird Tycoon, I think Ian Wilkes would be happy to see another late running effort, looking to stretch this one out even more when there are opportunities to do so on the dirt. I will say it's encouraging that this is the family of Birdstone, Birdtown, some other good horses, many of them from the Unbridled line. And, of course, Gradar, who does okay with his 2-year-olds, the son of Unbridled Song. So we're breeding on a familiar pedigree pattern here.
We kick off Sunday's 50-cent Late Pick 5 with our Spa Baby race presented by Spendthrift. Nicole, who do you fancy?
Well, gosh, I think the race goes through Finite and Mrs. Danvers, who, as you mentioned, were separated by just a head when they were second and third, respectively, at their debut. Again, filming this a couple days in advance, I'm going to encourage our viewers, as we always say, to watch the board. I mean, Mrs. Danvers gave a wonderful accounting of herself, but I'm still not convinced that she doesn't just want to go longer. And if perhaps all of the attention falls to her, Finite making that second start for the Steve Asmussen Bard might offer you more value in that spot. I am also going to watch Water White. Again, Conveyance, he's a freshman sire that, I really believe in a little bit. I think he'll turn out decent runners. And if you're looking for something to round out your exotics at a price, Water White might show some speed and be that one.
Like you, I'm interested in the 2 big names in the race. The 6 Mrs. Danvers, really taken with her career debut. She probably wants to go a little longer. I'm curious to see how she breaks this time around, because that's the key. She broke so terribly in her debut. We know Finite's trainer's record with second-time starters. You have to use her. Maybe Bird Tycoon comes with a run. I like the experienced horses in here. 6, 4, 8, and 1 to kick off the 50-cent Late Pick 5 with race number 6 at the Spa on Sunday. It's Spa Babies presented by Spendthrift, the Breeders' Farm.